Finally tonight, by definition, sickle cell disease is a genetic blood disorder that causes red blood cells to form in a characteristic C shape. I tell you, I was looking for the big words in this name. These abnormally shaped red blood cells can block blood vessel and oxygen from actually reaching tissues and organs, leading to pain and other serious health problems. Sickle cell has been dominant in the lives of our next guest. Hailing from Grand Bahama, Kayla Smith and her daughter, look at the name, Decrizia. Did I get it right? Decrizia Bartlett have had to carve their lives around this disease and are now active champions on educating Bahamians on this disease. Ladies, it's always a pleasure to have you in the rundown. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this. How has sickle cell changed your life?
That's a good question.
Sickle cell has been a part of our lives from birth.
From birth?
Yes, you're born with this disease.
I don't know my life without sickle cell.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
How has that altered what, because you know, people say it alters your normal way of life. And I also, people will, that's relative because what is normal, right? Some people just, if it's been with you all your life, that's been your normal. But from other people who do not have the disease, how has it changed? How does it change one's life?
Right.
Well, I'll start first. I was diagnosed with sickle cell disease at the age of 3. 3 years old. I wish I was diagnosed at birth, but we'll get into that a little later. I was diagnosed at the age of 3, and I was hospitalized about 100 times by the age of 13.
What?
So my life has been one big roller coaster, a lot of hills and valleys, more valleys than hills, but despite all the, I wouldn't say negativity, the challenges that I've experienced as a result of sickle cell, I think that it has made me the resilient woman you see here today. I think that the hardships that I've experienced has strengthened me and encouraged me to not only look for better in my life, but also encourage others to find the lives that they deserve, the lives that they want. Because while we may have sickle cell disease does not have us.
I love that. Are you able to do what it is that you set out to do in your life as goals?
Oh yes, every single goal that I put forth in my life, I've achieved, every single one. I've gone off to university, I've traveled all around the world, deep down under, I've joined clubs, went to college, went to university, everything that I wanted to do, I set forth and I achieved. Now, it wasn't easy. It was not easy. If I set forth a goal, we had to have serious conversations. Like when I went off to university, I knew I couldn't go to somewhere that one was not far. I had to be able to, get home or my mom get to me in case of crisis. So I went to the University of Florida, which was right there in Miami.
Smart. You get to Miami fast and you can get out
in a jump. So that was a big decision. And then, having insurance, because in the Bahamas, a person with sickle cell disease cannot have insurance. So those are things that I've had to implement in my life. Like for me, going to work. I know that I'm extremely cold, like I am right now.
And I'm so sorry, I know the studio is freezing, so I can imagine it.
It's freezing, so I purchased a little heating space heater. I have a blanket at work. I have all of these things. I know that I'm someone who needs to have water throughout the day, so I'm not dehydrated. I make sure that I do that, take my medicine. I know that if I want to live a certain life, I have to include sickle cell in every decision. When I was young, I used to say, sickle cell is a little buddy that I take with me. I have to make sure that my buddy is doing well. I have to make sure that my buddy is thriving because I don't thrive if my buddy doesn't thrive.
Smart.
So it has been a lot of things that I've had to address and I've had to include so that I can thrive. Someone like me, my biggest challenge with sickle cell disease is stress. So if I'm in a stressful environment,
Lord have mercy.
I am not my best. You want to see me in the hospital? You want to see me at my worst? Oh, put me in some stress that will have me down, under, head backwards, unable to thrive, and not regular stress, not day-to-day stress. Like, for example, when my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer a few years ago, my twin, my bestie, God, why you do this to me? So it was a very stressful situation. And right after that, I think I was hospitalized for about 6 weeks. I had maybe 6 blood transfusions. I was in intensive care, and it was a hard time. It was an extremely hard time. I think I had more hardships in that one hospitalization than I did in my entire life.
Wow.
So stress is not my friend, but like my mom, cold
Not
is
my
her
friend.
trigger. She does not thrive in cold areas. So I'm okay in the
Herb,
cold,
get your
but
ass to set that.
she does not thrive in cold environments. So one thing that's very important to know too is every person with sickle cell disease, no two people are the same.
Ah,
No two
so
people
what
are
may
the
be
same.
your trigger may not be somebody else's trigger.
Exactly.
Yes, and a lot of people don't understand that. I had many challenges where I would tell someone, oh, I have sickle cell, but this affects me. They're like, oh no, maybe you need to be in another environment. Maybe you need to switch offices, or maybe you need to go in an environment where it's not cold. And I'm like, how are you telling me what my body thrives off
Right.
of? Yes, that's the
You know.
standard, but this body, I know this body,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So that's another problem we experience. People don't believe us, whether that's in hospitals, whether that's in employment environments, whether that's in society. For whatever reason, people don't believe us. When we say we're in pain, when we say we're struggling, they don't believe us.
Well, I've known someone who's had sickle cell. I knew when they had it, it used to be so painful whenever the tox came on. It was so painful. I was trying to figure out, well, what's going on in the body at that time? What's causing this pain and what's happening?
So as you so eloquently described earlier, sickle cell disease essentially is a hereditary blood disorder where there's an abnormality in a protein known as hemoglobin. So this protein is responsible for carrying oxygen throughout the body. Now, your red blood cells, or the average and normal healthy person red blood cells, are bouncy and round, and they have the ability to carry oxygen around the body correctly. Now, in sickle cell disease, we don't have that ability to carry oxygen normally around. So our red blood cells are crescent and rigid, and they stick together. So when they pass through blood vessels, they stick together. And whenever that happens, something called a vaso-occlusive crisis occurs, and that's basically a sickle cell crisis. So sickle cell crisis can occur anywhere in the body, anywhere that blood flows. And you tell me where that may be. Everywhere. That could occur in your fingers, in your knees, in your back, in your eyes, everywhere everywhere. So, and it can be described in many different ways. You know, some describe it as sticking or sharp or even dull pain. I've had dull pain, stabbing pain. Some people say, now I have never had a child, but some people say that sickle cell pain is worse than childbirth. Now I leave that to the people who've had children.
Right.
Is it worse?
It's really bad. It feels like somebody is just constantly tearing at the bone. With the sharpest object and the pain, because you can't even sit down if you're having the pain in your legs. Sitting on your legs is excruciating, so you have to lay down. It's a really hard disease to live with, and if you're not educated or don't know your body, then you won't be successful.
Right.
And so for me, she speaks so eloquently about it.
I'm sitting here thinking, wow. You know this like a doctor.
Right.
And you're describing this like a doctor.
Because I had to teach myself and then teach her.
Wow.
Right? And then there's a few variations of sickle cell disease. I didn't find out my sickle cell type until I was 26.
Wow.
So all of my childhood, I used to have these pains. I would go in West End Jackdaw Hotel into Olympic-sized pool and swim. And as soon as I came out, my mother would have to rush me to the clinic. Right?
Wow.
And there was a Philippine doctor who I guess somewhat knew something about sickle cell, and he started me on penicillin. That probably saved my life.
Wow.
And I would go to doctors and they will always try to figure out, not until I was 26, Dr. Corinne Sinqui found out that I had a very rare form of sickle cell. It's called sickle beta thalassemia plus. And so, yes, and so it's 2 blood disorders together. It's thalassemia, which derives a lot from the heritage of Indian. And so my great-grandfather was Indian. So my mother has thalassemia, my father, sickle cell trait. And those 2 things came together and gave me that rare form.
Wow, double whammy.
Yeah, and so for us, our mission now is to educate.
Yes.
Like aggressively educate, work, school, governments because we're also pushing and advocating for a newborn screening and a registry. All today, your guests were talking about Jamaica.
Correct.
Jamaica has 2-point-something million people. We have 400,000. Jamaica has had newborn screening and a registry from 1973.
Wow. 73?
Yes. They also have a part of the UE school has sickle cell clinic, and so doctors are trained there for sickle cell as well. We don't have that, and we need to test every child born in the Bahamas. And so through my work, I'm advocating, I'm working with the government.
That's awesome.
The Prime Minister has been receptive, Minister Mitchell, my boss, and Dr. Darvel, they all have agreed, and so we're now talking, and I've been in my position as Vice Consul, have collaborated with Grady Hospital
Oh my goodness.
in Atlanta, who has an emergency room
Yes.
for sickle cell.
Yes. Yes.
The Georgia Sickle Cell Foundation. There's so much work that can be done, and they're willing to help and assist us. And so having both the Bahamas and the U.S. and different organizations help and partner us to educate the Bahamian people and get us where we need to be so everybody knows their status is our #1 goal.
Both of you are heroes, and I would just salute you on that, because it's one thing to be able to educate yourself and be able to succeed through it, but it's another thing to now take it on as an advocacy and help other people.
Yes.
And educate your
so
country
necessary.
and get your country to where it should be to be able to provide the kind of care that's needed. And hats off to you. You're
Thank
heroic.
you.
These are the real unsung heroes.
Thank
Congratulations. Thank you for coming on the show and sharing your stories, and we wish you every success. Y'all so smart. Y'all just pretty and smart.
Thank
I
you.
up on the show. Yeah, so, but thank you, and all the best to you.
Thank
for being
you.
a part.
Thank
That does it
you.
for the